Hello, everybody. This is Joshua Hatton with One Nation Under Whiskey podcast. I'm joined today with both Jason Neal, Patrick Harris, Johnston Yellen, and Jessica Rabbit Guillermo Lomas. Both of you in the hizzy.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. So soft-spoken, Jason. Hello.
Hello. Hey, we're in the spring of the year. We're turning a corner. It feels nice to see the sun and clear skies. It is a little colder today than one would like, but here we are. So yes, I am softened by the spirit of the season.
Isn't you supposed to be like in like a lion and out like a lamb, or what's
That's
that
March.
saying? Oh, that's March. And here we are, April.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
I feel like there's something about April showers. That's the old wizard.
Bring May flowers.
Is that what it is?
It is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
That's very true.
That's fitting, given that we had a storm this weekend.
I'm curious, Jess, when we were all together in Scotland, the weather was fantastic. And it was another opportunity to say Scottish people complain about the weather an unfair amount, where you're really over there with lovely sunny days and very, very little rain. And yet all we hear is how bad the weather is. Mm-hmm. It was delightful. We were in short sleeves.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you weren't. The pair of you never looked like you're dressed warm. I didn't wear a coat the entire week. I had several people say to me, isn't it nice of them to bring the sunshine from America?
Yeah.
You can come more often if that's what you bring. Because let me tell you, the second you left, straight back to fucking rain.
It was so good the few days we were together. It was
great. Seeing you in your Speedos the entire time, though, Jason, that was
just in the head
difficult.
office, though. He wasn't wearing those out and about.
Yeah, no, I know.
We also spent a lot of time indoors looking at the outdoors, which, as we all know, is very much not the same thing as being in the outdoors.
Jess wouldn't let me walk anywhere. I wasn't allowed to walk.
I was enjoying filing 28 Uber receipts on my expenses report.
So many Ubers. So many. Far too many. Oh my gosh.
It was about time efficiency. If we'd had time to mess about, it would have been nice for a walk. But there's no time. It's all business.
Speaking of our Ubers, I've been telling some people since I came back here, the one driver we had who talked about he was wrapping up his shift, he was heading home to take advantage of the weather, cut his grass, and he stopped at his local corner shop to pick up a few beers to enjoy in the sun, and the store was empty. They were sold out of beer on Scotland's first sunny day of the year. Just people over here love hearing that. It goes over so well.
That's wild. Imagine a beer store sold out of beer in Scotland. That couldn't have gone over well.
I also feel like the shop you guys are thinking of is very much not the shop he was in. But I don't want to ruin your lovely story about there being no beer in Scotland. It wasn't a beer shop. It was a corner store that has like
a bodega,
tiny fridge of beer.
Will.
It's not even a bodega. It's a shop. It's like if you've lived in the UK long enough, that used to have a sign outside that would be like mags, fags and booze. So it's that kind of store. And I feel like a bodega's way too fast. Anyway, please don't change the story for the US. They'll be delighted that we have sunshine just 3 days of the year. And we have to sit outside when it is sunny, which is also true.
I wanted to update you, Jess, and Jason, you saw this yesterday, but also the listeners. I've had a few people reach out about the overall progress of the Hatton move, because as you can see, I've got a background, where my arms are disappearing into nothingness. And so I wanted to just update you on what my move looks like. Now, the listeners don't have the benefit of seeing this.
Ollie Chilton is loving this.
Yeah, Ollie's going to love this. So here you
I'll
go.
just get my Etch-a-Sketch out, Ollie. I'll sketch you on my Etch-a-Sketch. Go.
This is what it looks like. You ready? Here we go.
Go. I mean, that just looks like my living room on any given day. I mean, obviously not the one in my background, which is 100% real with my grand piano.
Yeah, for the listeners, the boxies, it's Day of the Boxies over there. Not necessarily seeing more empty shelves. There is one obvious emptier shelf.
Yeah.
But the boxies have really taken over for the shelves.
Yeah, I would say I have, I don't know how to count. I would say there's 15 empty shelves, but a lot more full shelves. And there's 12 boxes here, 7 boxes out in the hallway. And there's so much more to go. So much more. There you go.
Thankfully, the house you're moving into is twice the size of the one you're leaving. So this is going to work out just fine.
I'm moving into a storage unit.
If Haida has her way, that might be true.
This is true.
Oh, you like these bottles so much? Why don't you live with them in a storage unit down by the river?
She even said, do you really, now that you're packing all of these up, do you need all of these in your office?
100%. That's always the question. Yep. The answer is no, but you have to dress it up as a yes.
I like it, though. I like having them there, right? If you guys come over, it's nice to have easy access to a bottle and say, oh, here's that thing that I bought 10 years ago. And, you don't have to go like you, Jason. You'd have to go under the house. You'd have to open up a box. You'd have to consult a spreadsheet. It's not easy. I like easy.
Yeah, because I only have 350 in my office. I would have to go to storage to get you something else.
Yeah, once you've done that storage, we all know you're going inside and going into your son's closet. That's where the really good stuff is. So,
I can only imagine Haida's face when your defense for having far too many bottles is, but if Jason comes from Virginia or Jess comes from Glasgow, I want to be able to pull something off the shelf.
I have to have a defense, right?
And then she said, sure, babe, why didn't I think of that? You're 100% right. I'll just carry on over here.
Thank you, Jess. Thank you.
That's word for word, that's what Haida said. I've written it down.
Yeah. As opposed to a gigantic GTFO. Oh, gosh. Our wives are so patient. So patient.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Anyway. So listen, we have a very cool episode here where we're highlighting our return to the Independent Spirits Festival, which, coming off of the first Independent Spirits Festival, no one knew if there would be a second one. And then we were surprised that there was a second one. And listeners will hear in a bit, because we're going to lead off some of the interviews here with David Stirk, where he confirms there will in fact be a third one. This is going to be a series of events, which is exciting. But we're going to be highlighting our return to Independent Spirits. And Jess, I think you can confirm we're going to be highlighting also the launch of what we like to call ROW12, our latest bottlings for our non-US markets, correct?
That is 100% correct. The bottles were still warm from the bottling line. Jason and I had to do a mad last-minute dash on a Friday afternoon, which, even in a nice day in nice weather, that is a risky 2.5-hour run between Edinburgh and Glasgow. Americans, get your maps out and look how close those two are. It's a bit like me asking, could you just nip across LA for me to pick up a package or a sandwich and return to the other side? That's the Scottish equivalent of it. So Jason and I went on a bold and fearless mission.
Weather was beautiful. Weather was spectacular.
In our extremely fancy hire car. to pick that up from the warehouse, where the lovely team had bottled them literally at lunchtime. And you and I barrel rolled in at 1:30 and said, hello, we're coming to pick these things up. So
handbrake
that was
turn
quite the ride.
in the yard.
Yeah. Handbrake turn, yeah. And then we sped all the way back to Leith, to the theatre, to drop those bottles off.
To be clear, there was no speeding. we did.
I only mean like
only movement.
metaphorical speeding. I don't mean any illegal acts were committed here.
Back to It was a car that allowed for speeding if one was so inclined.
Did it? I would never have even thought to ask you that.
Neither Jess nor I were inclined.
As we only use the speed restrictors in all directions.
Of course.
That's interesting to me, Jason. You've pointed that out. I more meant we moved, unlike other trips that the three of us have taken between Glasgow and Edinburgh on the M8, where it took us 2 hours to sit in the middle of the M8 and go nowhere. There was none of that happening. And I was extremely grateful. So thank you very much, travel gods, for being kind to us. It would have been very stressful to get those bottles on the Friday and ready for the show on Saturday. That would have been horrendous. And we already had a stressful enough morning to do before we got to the show. So, yes, I'm very glad that there was none of that. And a big shout out to our Masterton crew for getting those bottles done in the nick of time. Yeah. So when people came to the stand, we were able to say, literally nobody has tried these. You guys are the very first of anyone in the world, anywhere outside of SCN to try these bottles. So,
so cool.
I thought that was fun.
Yep. Just to kind of set up the audience, the Independent Spirits audience on this one, you both are aware of my comments in other episodes of this podcast, where we've really celebrated the Balmenach bunch. And I have to tell you, this is honestly not what I thought was going to come out your mouth. I knew Balmenach would appear at some point, but the way you were setting this up so beautifully, I thought you were going to have to make a company-wide apology that resulted in you being, disciplined.
No, I saw this a mile away. I saw this 3 miles away.
The reason that I present it like this is I feel like the two of you have started giving me a harder time about the Balmenach bunch. And I want the Balmenach bunch amongst our listeners to join me in standing up to you two bullies. And to say...
Bullying. Now, given that we do have a workplace policy about bullying, I would just like to say to HR, no bullying has actually occurred. It is all entirely in Jason's head.
There is something to be said for bullies. Let me just put that out there.
The American has entered the fray.
It makes you strong, Jason. It makes you strong. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, Nelson, he's really hurt. I think he broke his leg. I said, ha.
And again, HR, I had nothing to do with this.
So, the point that I'm making here is at the Independent Spirits Festival, the number of people who came up to the table pointed at the Balmenach immediately and said, I love Balmenach. I love Balmenach. Once again, just like we said this time last year, what an audience to pour for as an independent bottler. Yep. Where you're not starting from, no, we're not rebottling things. We are going out looking for the best examples of casks from distilleries you maybe haven't heard of before. And at Independent Spirits, you better believe they've heard of Balmenach, Auchroisk, Glencadam. Did have the opportunity to describe Blackspoke Bridge to a few people. So
that's always fun, isn't it?
Right?
That's a if you know, you know. I also think, God, can you imagine, Joshua, if this man was good at social media, can you imagine he could harness the power of the internet for his Balmenach bunch?
Oh my gosh.
And that's why I got
just
off,
an obscure low-level cult. He would be, cult leader status.
Everybody, Balmenach has entered the screen.
All the viewers, yes, yeah.
Bow down before you
offer your obeisances to the bottle of Balmenach. You know, Jason, I will admit something. I'm going to admit this to you now and to our listeners and to our viewers. And Jess, please don't harm me in any way.
Well, luckily you're far, far away.
But you can come to my house and I'll have bottles to offer you.
House and help you open some boxes.
We'll be there any minute.
Box.
I think that the Balmenach from ROW 12 may very well be my favorite from that release. It is so big and fruity and round and just perfectly captures the Balmenach spirit. And I just, it just ticks the boxes for me. It's similar to the last retail release we had for the US with our Glen Spey, I think it was 13, it might have been 14, but our Glen Spey first fill bourbon, right? Where it just highlighted the Glen Spey spirit. And that's what I wanted it to do. Yep. And that's what I wanted this Balmenach to do. And I think it just captured it perfectly. So I'm gonna give props.
I know, it's a great whiskey. I know that you two did not fly home together, so it's not that he's had a whole transatlantic flight to bully you into this opinion. But calm down. I am a fan of it. I mean, there's a reason why we've put it in ROW 12.
Yes,
because it's delicious.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just don't think I'm ready to commit to the Balmenach Bunch cult.
That's okay. In
due
course, Jess. In due course, we will always have the door open for you. You walk through when you feel comfortable. So if Balmenach was my kind of fun opening gambit, what were you seeing? What kind of stories were you sharing at your end of the table? Because we had it under control. We had it locked down along with Christopher Sweet Scott Hallstrom, and we always thank him for his commitment to Single Cask Nation, and we couldn't do what we do without him pitching in, and so much love goes out to Chris too.
See, we do say nice things about him sometimes.
Mostly when our mics are on.
When HR's listening. No, I couldn't. Last year he was supposed to be volunteering to help the show, and we were so busy that I kind of grabbed hold of him and was like, please don't leave us. So this year from the off, I told him, don't even pretend you're going to volunteer for anybody else.
Yep.
You are going to be on this table. And I did try to send him away to try things too. The problem that remains with this festival is there are too many nice things in the room, and I want to not be minding our stand. I want to be trying everybody else's. So that's my number one feedback to Messrs. Stirk and Co. is that I would like a 1 hour preview race, just with the doors shut, no punters, just for everybody in the room to talk to each other. That's what I would like.
That's great.
I'll put it in a feedback form. But
Stirk do feedback for us?
He does. I've had an email actually saying, do you have any feelings about that?
Ooh la la.
And I was going to send back some very unreasonable rider requests for next year. But I do think having a pre-show, once everybody, because it's, the three of us know, and anybody who's been to a show where you have to exhibit things and set up a stand, you kind of chat to people while you're throwing your table up, but you're not really thinking about who else is in the room. You know, you're there to... Jason and I went on Friday. It was a get in and get out of the door situation. We got into big trouble with Greg Schwartz for not telling him we were in the building. But I think we were in the building for a maximum of 15, minutes, and I didn't know he was there.
We did. We worked hard. We had dinner to get to.
We weren't blanking you really, Greg. It was just we had a job to get in and out. And I feel like that's, on the day of the show, that's you're in your kind of game phase, you're setting everything up. You're not really necessarily having the freedom to wander around with a glass and see what other people have got. It was very much like a ready, steady, go situation. So having longer before the show would be my suggestion because selfishly, at the end of the show, everybody wants to, if an exhibitor, everybody needs to be fed. And then, various people fold off into the pubs and stuff. And there are some people you won't see again. So that's my very selfish reason. Is it's not very often that I get to be in a room with so many indie bottlers in the same country at the same time. So it's a really spoiled brat moment for me to be like...
And independent distillers this year.
Mm-hmm. And this year
we're friends with so many independent distillers as well.
Mm-hmm. And some punters with ridiculous bottles in their bag. I don't know if you two... I definitely made sure you got to try it, but I don't know if you saw the label, and I have deleted it. I don't know how I've done that. There was a gentleman called Frank who came up to the stall at the end of the show, and he brought me some of the original Connoisseur's Choice bottlings of a 1966 Kalila.
Oh, yes, I got a taste of that.
And said, do you want to try this? And I was like... Obviously. So that was a delicious treat. Thank you very much for that, Frank. That was very kind of you. So, in terms of our stuff,
yes,
very difficult to compete with the 1966 Kalila, but I am willing to try because I'm nothing if not persuasive.
Yeah, our 1966 Kalila ran out in the first couple of minutes of the show.
Difficult.
It was unlabeled.
Just after our 50s Mortlock. Right, which was, another
Joshua,
popular one.
You weren't meant to tell anybody about that. I always say, don't mention the 50s Mortlock. It's disaster. I really enjoyed pouring their Thrusk for people. A Thrusk, I think, also has a bit of a reputation. I think we may, on this very podcast, have alluded to the kind of people who merrily consume a Thrusk.
I may have called people that to their face in Leith.
Due to the legal situation, we're no longer... doing that. I think we probably need to stop. But I was really enjoying pouring that. I think the fact that it looks black as my soul helps draw people's eyes. There you go. Into
Look
it.
at the color of that.
Viewers are now
looks like it should
seeing
be
the exact
syrup.
color of Jess's soul. Her words, not mine.
Black like my soul. You can fill in the rest. The colour of it makes it look like it should be a syrup. When you pour this dram, it looks like it should pour like a thick, viscous liquid, not a whiskey.
I'd almost argue this picture makes it look light.
Yeah,
it's
this
actually darker than that.
This lovely blue
life.
background you've got is throwing my eye off it. I mean, it is extremely dark. It looks like a pint of Guinness. Other stuffs are available.
I tell you what I liked, though, is when you see it, that colour, looks like a Coca-Cola cask, as we sometimes talk about. Everybody who tasted it still had the Auchroisk spirit shine through the cask influence. And that's always important for us in all of our selections.
Yeah. We didn't pick it because it's an old sherry bomb that definitely has enough going for it to stand up. My other easy, obvious thing that I really love is the Black Spoke Bridge. Our new release of that. When we were picking the casks for RW12, this was the first thing I picked and was an instant yes for me because it's so friggin' delicious. Again, maintains lots of that spirit style from whence it came, but there is obviously a generous splishy splash of sherry happening in
The
here.
distillery does very well with sherry.
Yeah, famously a good sherry. And it's fun in a room full of people who already get what we're doing. To have a bunch of people who say, oh, but what's the Black Spoke Bridge? And that's kind of fun. I get a little bit of a kick out of people who I think probably call themselves, whiskey, I'm hesitating to say whiskey nerds, but people who are not novice whiskey drinkers. How about that? But it's always fun to find a new thing. I say this personally, I love finding a new thing. What's a new whiskey you can give me? And obviously, unless you know, and there were a good few people who did know our previous release, but it was fun to have people saying, oh, what's this? And then we get to tell the story of what it is. So
Yep, nice.
At least approximate
this one is,
what it is.
This is an American Oak PX Hogshead, which is one of my favourite styles of sherry casks that we have quite a lot of. I really love this American Oak. It gives a really kind of cream soda-y finished or taste to it. But it's not what I like about this one is that there is a sweetness, but it's not enough to make it fall apart. There is still a bite. We've got a relatively high ABV on this, so the alcohol is helping keep it a bit stiffer than just being a sweet soapy mess. So yeah, I'm really pleased with this.
Nice one.
Talk to us about the Glencadam, because I know from your end of the table that was a word that I kept hearing.
Yeah, well, I was doing a good sell because Glencadam is a distillery that's definitely getting a little bit more attention these days. They just opened a visitor centre and they've just done a packaging redesign, which of course has got people talking whether or not you're for or against the redesign. And it's the first Glencadam that we have done for the global markets. And it's got a splash of sherry in it as well. This is one of the American Oak Oloroso hogsheads for 4 years. It's just really delicious. It's a lovely, rich dram. It makes you want to drink it as soon as you smell it. Like the nose on this was great. It was also a really easy pick for me, and kind of got lots of that classic-y stewed apple, but I've got like maple in this too. I'm a fan of this, and I don't think I would necessarily have crossed a bar for a Glencadam previously. Not for any particular reason. I've just not had enough of them historically to make me very excited.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
But I have had an increasing amount of them. One of my friends is now an ambassador for Angus Dundee, and so she spends all of her life in a suitcase travelling around Europe. If you ever come across Gabby, tell her hello. She is one of the hardest working brand ambassadors I know in the industry. She's literally, she pretends she loves it, but it's not true. And so she occasionally brings me little treats to try, and I've just really been enjoying getting into learning a little bit more about Glencadam. So a visit to the distillery is on my cards. I want to take our group up there because I think it's been a brand that's been a quiet sort of back burners, never had a whole load of attention. Occasionally, and I am not creating a Joshua Hatton list here, occasionally there are indie bottlings of it, but there's not a huge amount of it out and about. So it's really fun. The last one was bottled in Check's Notes, 1815. I really enjoyed finding this. I enjoyed finding a sherry style too. It's quite a delicate and fruity style spirit anyway. And when we were picking the cask samples, I was a bit worried that maybe 4 years in a big old Oloroso cask would have sort of diminished the spirit, but I think this is really nice. It's got nice integration. So I was punting that hard on the table because I wanted people to also be exposed to maybe a new Speyside to them, or a new Highland whiskey, to them, that they've not really had a lot to do with. So
yeah, no, I think there's a lot of mileage. When we brought our Glencadam over for US e-commerce, and it had that little kind of floral component to it, a hint soapy, in a very, very, very good way. People were really, really taken by it and kind of like, oh, Glencadam. Oh, I'll have to pay attention to that. That's worth following. So to have one going out to global markets is really cool.
I also want to say to people in global markets, please disregard Jason's statement about anything that could hint towards floral soapiness. There's absolutely zero of that in there. I know that's one of these things that makes people feel anxious. It's something that I'm not a massive fan of. I'm definitely not hypersensitive to it, but I'm not like, I think Joshua actively enjoys that, and I am.
Well, yeah, to be clear, I think the better term for the one that Jason's referring to is it had that 80s Bowmore FWP, which I think is more accurate.
That's not helpful.
Right?
That is not helpful.
No,
except in 2026, we're trying to stop using FWP. It's a little less savoury in the current climate, so I would say it's not the best way to say it.
Well, I don't know. I'm trying to keep it alive, Jason.
You know, good on you, mate. I know a man in a Panama hat who'll support you.
Or not.
Before we go over to the interviews here, and I know you've got them up your sleeve, Joshua, I wanted to give a special shout out to an Icelandic chap, Victor. I stood and talked to Victor for a long time, met a lot of his group who were all over from Iceland, and he was hand selling our Auchroisk, which was fantastic. So we didn't keep formal records, but I know a fair few of those Auchroisk bottles were flying back to Iceland after the show. So
they definitely were, usually by people pointing at the bottle and then at Victor saying, he said, make me buy this.
100%.
I think we should also give honourable mention to, and they didn't give me their names, but there's a group of really lovely guys from Hungary and a group of Polish boys who were doing kind of the same thing, trying it and then being like,
awesome.
buy it. I had a guy who was choosing between the Auchroisk and the Glencadam and then was like, I'm just going to take them both. So
right.
What an honour. In a room full of, what there was around and about us, there was some ridiculous whiskey on the go. So I was thrilled to see so many of our bottles flying off the shelves.
Yep.
It's always nice. This is a really weird show. I have explained it to you too. This is a not weird, but unusual style of show for the UK in that you can sell from the table. So when I go to Germany, that's very normal. You sell from the table. But in the UK, it's not common practice for whiskey festivals for you to try some things and then hand over your phone or your card and tap for payment immediately to buy bottles. So it's always heartwarming to me to meet people who then look you in your eye and say, I'll take a bottle of that. Because you can say lots of nice things to people at a table. Yeah, I'll buy a bottle in the shop on the way out. And, I'm not silly. I know that there's 50 stalls between me, the shop, and the exit, and the inevitable pub. And if you've shambled past 50 stalls and got to the retailer at the show and remembered how to say Tierninnick, then I am delighted. But there's a bit of trust in that. This is coming from personal, I would be exactly the same if I was at a show. So the fact that you are putting your faith and your hard-earned cash straight into us having tried a whiskey, or, bringing your friends, Victor and his gang, like bringing them back to the table, right. I think that's fantastic. So, thank you to everybody who came and bought bottles from us. And to the people that Joshua gets to interview in a second.
Yeah, and I would add on to your point, Jess, people who would taste, say to your face, that's very nice, then go around the rest of the show and still come back and buy a bottle of the thing they loved. It's a challenging room, and I love that challenge. And so when people do make the full circuit and buy the bottle, that's just huge. Just fills me with immense pride and shows that the three of us are dedicated to our craft and are dedicated to finding casks. And actually, to quote Victor, and then I will stop and let us get on with the rest of the episode, but to quote Victor, he'd known about Single Cask Nation. He'd seen it listed in stores, but being in Iceland, he hadn't, as of yet, had a chance to taste it. Once he tasted it at our table, he said, I can trust what you are all doing. I can buy future releases and trust that you will get the selection right. And that's all we have spent 15 years trying to achieve, is that level of trust. And so meeting us for the first time, tasting our wares for the first time, and immediately establishing that trust, fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. So,
and he doesn't know this yet, but I am going to go to Iceland and
100%.
traverse across Iceland on an Icelandic pony until I find where he is.
Good.
And we can drink some more things together. It's mainly just because I want to expense an Icelandic horse.
100%.
And I haven't worked out previously until right this second now how to do that. So thanks for that, Victor, for enabling my 8-year-old's dreams.
His group wanted you in Iceland, so this is a meeting of minds.
That doesn't sound at all threatening. Never to be seen again.
Yeah. All right. So I want to hand everything over to the guests that I spoke with. So I had a number of conversations, and all of them short. 5-6 minutes. One was a bit long. Actually, two are a bit longer than the others. And those two being, one was with Nate Barlow, who is one of the producers of the movie. So just so listeners and viewers know here, last year this festival was tied to the Independent Spirits film. In this year, it's sort of a side film, which I think may be turning into a series, which is dedicated to distilleries that are farm-to-bottle distilleries, right, where they're growing the barley and doing everything on site, or most things on site. And so I'm talking with Nate about the creation of that film and the interviewing of the producers from those distilleries, right? So we get to hear from Nate on that. And then there was a real surprise, Johnny the Scot, which was one of our Great Islay Swimmers, who we hadn't seen in almost a full 9 years, just happened to be in Scotland. He was there, and so we had a good catch up.
Yeah,
and
great to see him.
Yeah, and so it was one of these things, it was like kismet. It was just a nice surprise. So, it was one of those times where you just let the conversation go where the conversation went. Jasper Lyons, who's a local brand ambassador for us, who has a Denver group. He was there with his fiance, and he's on here. And we'll also hear from David Stirk and our dear friend Michael Nolan, and we may hear from your brother Jason. Now I had to cut down a fair bit of what Murray had to say, but I'm leaving in some juicy bits.
Thank you for that.
To the listeners of this podcast, there's fear in Jason's eyes.
Well identified, Jess.
But all in all, I think the conversations really captured the feel of the show, and really it was nice to catch up with some people and talk about the movie and talk about how nice it was, how nice that show was. So we'll hand it over now. David Stirk,
Joshua,
year 2.
wasn't supposed to happen.
I know. When we last spoke, I asked you, I said, do you think you'll do this again? And I said, I don't know.
I wanted a purpose. The first one was for a purpose.
Yeah.
And when Guy and Greg said, we've got another film, there was a purpose.
Yeah.
I still feel there are too many festivals, but so many people have told me the vibe and the feel of this one is different because we concentrate on independent people, we don't advertise.
Yeah.
So, but I've got a purpose anyway, so regardless. And it looks like this is a series, so the purpose might be there for a few more years to come.
Yes.
So,
it has to be.
and I haven't got any more hair to lose, so, you know. What have I got? What have I got? It's only a weekend, you know.
Is it a pain? Is it a slog to put all this together?
No. I would be lying if I said it was, because everybody I deal with is so pleasant and so positive. From the brand new people to the established, you know, we've got companies here who haven't shown in the UK for decades, and they're a pleasure to deal with. So the team really makes it easy because between us, we cover all the bases. Yeah. I know enough people, Roy knows enough people, Guy and Keith know enough people. So that really helps too. Yeah. No, it's not a slog.
Good.
I want some sympathy, but I'm not going to get any.
I noticed you opened up a second room that you now have independent distilleries.
Well, it's a mix. So we've got some in here, some in there.
Oh, okay.
But effectively, all the people who were here last year are in here.
Yeah.
And some of the newbies are in there. That's a loyalty thing, you know, why not?
Yeah.
But we can't grow any bigger than this, so if this works, this will be the format for the future. Yeah. But then also the film was shorter, so it allowed us the time to break down.
Yeah, exactly.
And we had people chomping at the bit. I had to turn away companies, so it's not like I scrambled around trying to find people. We've got new distilleries wanting to join in. You know, they're coming online. They're the new boys.
Yeah.
So what an environment for them in a festival where everybody knows what they do, who they are, to an extent.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have to tell people what an independent bottler does.
Oh my God.
You remember back in the day?
Yes. It's such a breath of fresh air.
When they come up, read the labels. Oh, you've got a Dalyuen. You know Dalyuen? I've got 6. Try it, you'll love it. Yeah. You're my kind of people.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So amazing. I think we're 50% more people this year.
Oh wow!
And I'll keep it at that level because it's comfortable.
Yeah. I haven't done the full walk around simply because I haven't had a chance. But looking around, it doesn't look as if the people aren't squeezing cheeks. There's still free movement. Yeah, which is nice.
Nothing wrong with a bit of cheek. What do you call it? Freezing. Squeezing. No, I think it's comfortable. I worked out the numbers. We kind of matched what we did last year. Yeah. And you and I both know when a festival's a sea of hands, the people who are exhibiting go, ugh.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because you don't get any time with them. And we're not here just to pour, we're here to portray our ethos and what we want to do. Why is Single Cask Nation different? It's because the two guys behind it are so damn sexy. And if they don't have time to look at you and adore you, they won't know that, So,
right? Exactly.
Yeah, so, yeah. And very different too. Poles apart in looks. Yeah, and so it's done for that reason. And I hope it works again.
Same. Yeah, I got to tell you, just really quickly, and then I'll let you go because I know you've got to go around and kiss hands and shake babies. But when we were looking at our 2026 plans and we have to plan our Scotland trip, we had to make this the anchor. It was no doubt about it, and I think that will be the aim next year. So have this next year so that this could be our anchor.
Okay. Well, that's reason enough for me to do it. I said I needed a reason. I got a reason.
Boom. There you
Just
go.
to see you guys and really everybody else that comes across.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I both know America's filled with a lot of wonderful people, and this industry brings out the very best. So,
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
yeah, all good.
All right. Cheers, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're recording. Murray Johnston, brother of Jason Johnston Yellen. Got to throw that in. How do you feel about that?
I find double barreled is too much. It's one or the other.
It's one or the other.
When my wife and I get married, she refused to take my name.
All right.
So we are very much a hybrid. We are,
Yeah. Okay.
sadly.
You now see your brother. You now see your brother in action.
I have seen him my whole life.
Now it's not in action, it's in action. How do you feel about seeing your brother doing whiskey work?
He's in with his people. He knows his whiskey inside out. He's a bit geeky, as we know.
Yes.
Same as you, John.
Indeed.
So he's enjoying himself.
Yeah.
But really, at the end of the day, he really just wants to be home. With his surrounded with his family and his books and his whiskey collection, and that's how he is a happy boy. I mean, that's a simple life. The older I get, the more I understand it.
Yeah.
Actually.
True.
Yeah. And I actually need to decompress myself after having his son staying with me for 3 months.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, how was that?
We've lived in the house ourselves for, must be nearly 20 years. And then suddenly you get another human being. And don't get me wrong, Kai was effortless, but it's another heartbeat in the house. So you can't do certain things that you normally would.
Yeah.
And
You're a man of routine. Is this true?
Well,
That's the sense I get.
well, listen, between you, me, the gatepost and 500,000 listeners, my wife likes to walk around from the dressing room to the bathroom completely naked. And I like to see that, but you can't do that when there's an 18-year-old lad kicking about. That's, I think that's some sort of child abuse, actually. So it's not good.
So, is this your first whiskey festival?
You know, I think it is.
Because you're not a whiskey guy.
I am not a whiskey guy. I've never found it. I love it on the nose, but I just can't take it on the palate.
Yeah.
It's too much. I have found a little Pedro Jimenez sherry at this event, and there's also a rum. There's 2 rums over from Islay.
Yeah, you're a rum guy, I know that.
So I'll try them. The whiskies look amazing. I didn't realise there's so many independent bottlers. It's really quite cool.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. Everyone's having a great time though.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I don't think people realize how large the independent bottling community is.
Yes, absolutely.
On the surface, you feel like we are the tiniest component, and in truth we are.
Yep.
But then you step into this room, and it's table after table after table.
And it's all friendly faces.
Yeah.
It's one big kind of happy family, which is kind of cool. And also a big kudos to David Stirk for putting on. Organising this is so difficult. So fair play to him for doing it. I haven't had a chance to say hello to him yet, but I will. He very kindly put Nicola and I on the guest list as we weren't sampling whiskies.
Yeah, he just knew you weren't going to drink anything, so.
Right? A Yorkshireman giving away tickets for free. I never thought I'd see the day. You get to 45, you think you've seen it all.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on the podcast. You've been a listener from the beginning.
Oh, I don't miss an episode.
I know.
Apart from every episode I've ever missed.
So Jasper Lyons, welcome to One Nation Under Whiskey. It's really good to have you on here. It's good to, I saw you in Denver last year.
Yes.
Doing a tasting at Burns Pub, which is that's where you work.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you reached out to us, and we sort of formed a relationship over email. And I said, hey, would you be interested in, and a lot of our listeners don't know this, but we have this very small program that we call our local brand ambassadors, right? And you are our Denver chapter, where you've got a wonderful group of people.
They're pretty incredible.
Right?
Yeah.
And you represent us really well. So I want to thank you for doing that.
It's my pleasure.
So having you out here and meeting you first in Denver and now in Scotland is super fucking cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
The whole whiskey community is just awesome. Like, I've been trying to kind of find my way into the industry, kind of on the side. I work full-time in marketing, and it's like trying to build this kind of side career and just see where it takes me, put some effort in. And I live 15 minutes from the Burns Pub, which is, in my opinion, the hub of these single malt lovers in Denver.
Yeah.
And it's like a mini version of what we've got going on here. You know, you've got lots of brand ambassadors coming through, doing tastings, a bunch of cool people coming to sit and talk. And all whiskey lovers, very engaged and kind and generous. Kind of fits the whole whiskey community in general.
So you're here with your fiance Audrey.
Yes.
And so you started off here at the Independent Spirits Festival, but you're going to be headed off to be doing the Springbank School.
We are.
Yeah, talk to me about that.
Yeah, so I got on the wait list in 2024 when we were here last. They opened it up very briefly, and I put my name down because I know it's pretty exclusive.
Yeah.
You know, I have some friends who are part of our little whiskey group who have been on the wait list for seemingly years, and got the selection to go. And I've heard things through the grapevine of what it's like, and some teasers. Getting to blend the bottle potentially from all of Cadden Head's stock, what stock they have available, is one thing that I'm very excited about. But I've honestly tried to kind of black myself out from knowing too much, so that when I get there each day, it's kind of unique and novel. But from what I understand, you go through the entire whiskey making process at Springbank and spend each day essentially working at the distillery and getting full access, getting to ask questions, and we stay in their accommodation, and just a pretty incredible experience. We're both very excited for it. I feel very blessed that my fiance likes whiskey and was willing to pony up the tuition to come do it with me, and it's going to be awesome.
You've got a good partner in Audrey.
And she helps me with the local SCN events as well. I could not do it without her managing, hosting, 20 plus people in our space.
So, as you've been going around the festival, what struck you the most about this festival?
It's how nerdy everybody is right off the bat. Like, you can just go as deep as you want. There's no questions that are off the table. The one booth that we stopped at early is James Eady.
Yeah.
And they have this project where they're trying to replicate new make and whiskey that was made in like the 1920s and 30s.
I heard about this, yeah.
And they have a full set of new makes that are made at different distilleries, Lockley, Ardnamurchan, Dornick, using kind of traditional methods of production that were found back then.
Yeah.
One-offs, super, super small runs, and you know, the one that stuck out to me the most was a Dornick new make that they used spent brewer's yeast to inoculate and do the fermentation, and it had this almost agave tequila mezcal texture to it. Yeah. And then he let us taste 2 years aged of that whiskey. So that new make that was 2 years on in a new charred oak cask, and seeing the difference in how bright and expressive the new make was, to even 2 years in cask being completely different. And he sat with us and just walked us through. We got to try some other ones. And so that's stuck out to me the most. Of like, hey, that's so nerdy.
Right, so nerdy. That's great. That's so cool. So, I mean, what time is it? It's okay. We're about halfway into this. Have you gone over to the secondary room with the? You have. Okay. What in that secondary room? Because they've got a lot of producers there, like Ardnaho is there, and some other. Has there been any distilleries that have stuck out for you?
The Daft Mill, Berry Brothers and Rudd single cask they had.
Okay.
Was incredible.
Okay.
Like lemon poppy seed cake.
Yeah.
And you know, it's hard. A lot of stuff here at these festivals ends up blending together, and you've tried a lot. Yeah. And that one stood out. Both Audrey and I were like, I would get involved with that. Yeah. Getting to try some Kilhoman 100% Isla New Make.
Yes.
There was really cool. I feel like I'm almost more excited to try New Makes than some of the whiskeys here, because it's not, we don't usually get to do that.
Right.
People don't have it, they don't bring it, it's not publicly available. And then one I really want to try is the Arbiki Rye.
Oh, yeah.
Haven't tried that yet, but the other spirit types in Scotland are exciting, something new and different.
Brilliant. Yeah. Well, listen, I'll let you get on your way, but I want to thank you for being part of the nation, for helping us as like a dedicated nation member who's a brand ambassador for us in Denver. You do a lot for us, and it means a lot to me, to Jason, to Jess, and we don't take it lightly at all. So thank you.
Of course, it's awesome being able to be a part of the nation and doing brand work. It gets me really excited, and getting to represent a brand as cool as Single Cask Nation in the whiskey world to dedicated whiskey nerds is simply incredible.
Cheers. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Thanks, Joshua.
Nate, talk to me about this new movie that coincides with the Independent Spirits Festival. Like, you guys are joined at the hips. You are the reason for the season.
Yes, and it's, first I can say it's so gratifying to be part of what makes this happen. Yeah. It's just see all these people, all this joy, and all these people coming together. It's just a wonderful feeling. Yeah. And also ridiculous whiskey.
Oh my God. Yeah. Speaking of that, just so our listeners know, this is #humble brag. We have some 1963 Strath Isla in our glasses, so cheers to that. Slàinte. Cheers to you. Cheers to the entire team behind the film. So I haven't seen it yet. You had a showing earlier today.
Well, it's the first episode, really, of a docu-series.
Okay.
Last year, for those who don't know, we had the Independent Spirits, the film, and that deep dive into independent bottlers. If you know whiskey, this is a serious whiskey lovers film. Mm. And when they decided, because the festival is such a success, that they want to do it again, they asked us, can we have something else? And so Greg Swartz and I had been working on a idea for a farm to bottle docuseries, which is now expanded to a farm to table. We're going to do food as well.
Oh.
So it made natural sense for many purposes. A, for something for here, and B, because of what the interviews that we managed to get first to make it the first episode, single malt whiskey.
Yeah.
So that's what we're premiering here. We've actually already shot some wine, some beer, some American whiskey, and there's a lot to cover. The first season will probably be farm to bottle. The second season we're going to food.
Okay.
Of course, distributors might want food first, so that's what we're shooting, but it may end up being turned around by the time. That's the nature of distribution. But
I think food may be like the more universal thing that pulls people in. Yeah.
Exactly.
So when you say season, is it X number of episodes per season, or is it one episode per season kind of a thing?
It will be multiple episodes per season, though we haven't determined. There's no hard number, which is, of course, in the modern world of streaming is not not unusual. It's not, you're not tied to those kind of seasons that you had during broadcast.
Yeah.
So it'll be whatever ends up being natural, or at least at the pace, or we can finish certain things. And doesn't mean we won't loop it back around to other to bottling in season 3 or whatever. It just and we already even have ideas for certain ones that necessarily don't follow the same form, or certain people or certain structures like that might take a unique course. There are producers who do both. Like Isle Mull does both cheese and does a gin, so it's a combination. And so it takes it another level where they're reusing some of their spent goods for another purpose. And there's actually a winery up in, I believe in Sonoma, I could be wrong, called Penny Royal Farms that does the same thing.
Okay.
With wine, and they've got also all these goats and all this other. So these ones, that might be a special episode that doesn't really necessarily fall in the normal season format, but because they do this combination, it takes it into another level. Okay. We've interviewed someone who does both beer and wine. So there's all these unique permutations of it that can take. But the key is it's about people, producers who are, it's about getting back to the locality. Yeah. It's it's slow food. It's farm to table. It's being close to knowing where your goods are coming from in provenance. It's taking terroir to wine has never lost it. Right. But a lot of other places have either lost it or never acknowledged it, and really, but they're getting back to it, and so it's taking that to another level.
Yeah. I think of, they're in the film as well. I think of Spirit of Yorkshire Distillery. Yes. Right. They're, listeners will know. I had 11 years with Impex Beverages. They're the distributors or importers in the U.S. for them, and their story I think is fantastic of barley to bottle, and they're farmers first. Yes. And it's that, I remember interviewing David Thompson of the distillery and asking him whiskey questions, and it wasn't until maybe halfway into the conversation that I needed to be asking him agricultural questions. And so I wonder, during the making of this, do you guys think about those sorts of things as you're making this? Is how does all that work as you're sort of framing what these episodes look like?
Well, with our interviews, we have always had a kind of loose guide as to topics we want to touch upon. Mm-hmm. However, for documentaries, especially something it's one thing if you're doing something about history where the facts are set, right? Yeah. You have to be able to think on your feet. You have to be able to evolve, because you never know what kind of answer you're going to get, and realize if you're married to your topic list and don't realize, wait a second, this is something interesting I did not expect, that I need to go follow this path, you're going to lose something great. So we always kind of go in a guideline,
Yeah.
but we know where we want to jump. If we hear something, we follow that, the interesting story that we weren't expecting, and you have to be flexible. And that's, I think, to good documentaries in general.
Yeah.
I won't say because again, something historical, it's, you can plan more, but something that's living, you follow the story, and you got to go, follow those branches that you don't expect, and it can go in directions you never expected.
Yeah.
And usually those are the most interesting and best
Exactly.
ones.
Yeah, that's why, whenever Jason and Jess and I do interviews, we have general ideas of what we want to discuss, but there's never an end point, because you never know where that conversation's going to go. And it can be something completely different. For, coming to this festival today, I had a general understanding of what I wanted to capture. And then I saw Johnny Mundell, who was one of the swimmers for the Great Islay Swim, a guy I hadn't seen in almost 9 years. And we sponsored that swim. And we got to catch up on microphones about that swim, and he got to go into a bit more depth, and I never thought we'd go back there and dig in deeper and share a bit more and have a heart-to-heart, and you just need to be open to that and just see where it goes, and I think that makes for more interesting storytelling.
You may not use it, but you definitely want to explore it.
Yeah.
It may, because eventually, when you're putting it all together, it may not fit the flow.
Yeah, sure.
But you want to go there because it might be the best thing you ever captured. It's the off-the-cuff stuff for, in Independent Spirits.
Yeah.
Like the funniest things are those random comments from Mark Watt, like the stocks. And you just know, you would never have expected that, but you got to go with it.
Yeah, exactly. So this first episode is 31 minutes or so.
Yeah, in that vicinity.
Okay.
For a half hour. Which means, not that you expect to, mostly go to streaming now, but if you're a traditional broadcaster, you may have to trim, that's always a possibility to fit into time slots, but.
Yep. I want to change gears really quickly. So I heard once I landed here, oh my gosh, look at this. Connecticutians, we're talking about regional pizza right now.
Over 1960s Strath Isla.
1963 Strath Isla in our glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, do it. Open it. So listeners, that was Greg Schwartz and some handsome bearded gentleman.
Griffin, right.
There you go. So what was I going to... so when we landed here, someone had told me, I forget who, but someone had told me that the Independent Spirits film is now the number 3 film on American Airlines.
Yeah.
That is insane. Yeah. That is so fucking cool.
I think Water Life hit number 4 in American, and Independent Spirits is number 3.
That has got to put a little lift in your step when you hear stuff like that.
Yeah, it's amazing. Because you think of what's on there, all the big blockbusters and all this stuff. And to hear that is incredible. Yeah. So it's hitting a vibe. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, and it's great to see that. And it's great to see that, do I like big Hollywood films? Yes. But it's lovely anytime you see indies and documentaries breaking and getting that level of attention.
Yeah.
I flew in on Air France. And sad to say, it wasn't on there. I bet if it was wine, it would have been on there.
Yeah.
It is France. But I absolutely love that their greatest section of movies in there, the largest by far was documentaries.
Wow.
Not Hollywood blockbusters. Documentaries at the largest section. How cool is that? Something that's not your...
Yeah. People wanting a bit of real storytelling, not, it's nonfiction versus fiction.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So that was gratifying, even though we weren't one of them on that.
Yeah.
But American, yes.
Yeah.
So it's a...
Wow, and to know that Dram Golf and Sideshow Bob, myself, were in that film, and it still got to number 3.
And you were not here this morning because before we showed the episode, we showed some extended scenes.
Yeah.
The little, the bits that we did because we did one for you.
Yep.
And we strung out some of them. So you were up there for a while there too this morning.
Greg took a picture and he sent it over. Yeah, it's
ones that we kind of hit like specific points of something interesting and different that because again, there's so much that we had to, you can't fit it all in a film.
Yeah.
And so, but where we thought there was something interesting and different and, brought out and that people would appreciate. So
yeah, it was an honor to be a part of that film. It's an honor to be a part of this industry just in general. But listen, I know we need to get back to the show. But I want to thank you, Greg, Guy, the whole team, Alphonse, absolute incomplete Joshua Hatton list, everybody for bringing good, fun, real storytelling that is about this sort of geeky stuff that we're into, that we love. And you do it so well.
Well, thank you. But you understand, you've managed to bring your loves together into work, into everything. And so same with us. It's the same idea, bringing all our interests into one place. And
yeah. Cool. It means a lot. Cheers. Slanjiva. God, this whiskey's good. So, Johnny, it has been 9 years since I saw you, and it was brilliant getting a message from you on Instagram saying, I'm in town. I saw from your newsletter that there's an Independent Spirits Festival.
Yep.
I happen to be back home.
Yep.
Can I get in? And you got in. And last time I saw you was on Isla.
Well, first of all, it wasn't 9 years ago.
It was.
It was 8.5 years ago.
All right. Arithmetic, maths. All right.
It's so good to see you. It's even good to see Jason.
Whoa.
That's how.
Wow. Those are strong words.
Well, I know, but his blondness is legendary in the industry. Obviously seeing you triggers some incredible memories and a little bit of shame that it has been 9 years or 8.5 since we saw each other.
It takes two to tango.
Yeah. I am also grateful that your business is doing so well.
Sure.
This festival is opening my eyes again, and I got a little bit jaded for a time. To see this, the passion that is in this room, it's like going back in time.
Yeah.
I met Jason in Seattle in 2011 when I just started my first full-time job in the industry.
Oh, wow.
And if I think about the cycle that we've gone through in that time, and it can't have been an easy journey. You obviously started this business, staying the course from back then, there wasn't a lot available, and the guile that you guys have used, you were the only people that could have made the swim happen. Justin describes you in the film, the scrappers. And here we are, independent bottling is thriving in this room.
Yes.
And there is just the depth of passion for the content. It's just surrounded by no ego.
Right.
And joy of sharing. People are walking around going, what's been your favourite experience so far? And people are running around engaging in that. To see you and Jason at the heart of this and to see how far the business has come. I'm really happy to see you, and I'm sorry it's been so long.
That means a lot. That means a lot. And listen, you played a significant part in our growth. Having the Great Islay Swim, having you be a part of that is such a touch point in the Single Cast Nation story, in our friendship. in life, in all honesty. And I often think about that quite a lot. And so to get to know you, and I know, thinking back to the Great Islay Swim, you were meant to do one day.
If not, yeah.
And then you're like, you caught the bug, and you wanted to go on and do the rest. And the fact that you had that commitment to do it, and the stick-to-itiveness to do it, and I sometimes make the comparison to me and Jason in a way where it takes that stick-to-itiveness.
So there's the physical, but then there's the mental, and I look back and reflect, it was 30% mental. Sorry. It was 30% physical.
Yeah.
Like you've got, the physical was almost like, could you just keep going?
Yeah.
But in order to keep going, it was mental. I totally see the parallel between the business and even just seeing the logo of the barrel on your chest. Justin was so good at the imagery and the way he just brought everything to life. His wants, his passion.
Yeah.
So I see your barrel on your chest there, and I can't help but thinking of that. We fudged that wee bit of the film where, there was no way we were swimming around Islay and pushing a cask.
Yeah.
But he needed there to be a visual of us pushing a cask.
Of course, yeah.
And I think him the way I remember that is him and Chad are in the foreground of the shot looking amazing. And I'm at the back swimming my heart out, trying to physically just locked in and trying to move the barrel.
Yeah.
It's not what it was about. It was about just giving, it was about raising a flag on what we were trying to do.
Yeah.
Tons of parallels between the business and I very much felt I wouldn't have been there without the two of you. And I can say with a little more freedom that I'm not employed by a giant whiskey company anymore. The fact that you guys were willing to pay for me to go and be part of that, when I was working for a huge whiskey company at the time that wasn't willing to pay for me to go and be part of it, your vision on what that could, you didn't know what that could become, but you believed that it was possible.
Yeah, well, you had to be there, full stop.
Why?
Listen to the passion in your voice now. That's it, right there.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I have known each other across the years, but our interactions have, been here and there, right? We've never spent a ton of time, but the time that we've spent has always been meaningful and deep. And when we meet people like you, we know that we have to have people like you in our lives, and to have you as part of that, like that Great Islay Swim was a meaningful thing. It was really important for us to raise money for RNLI. It was very meaningful for us to do this project of sort of uniting these distilleries as best we can. It was really important to us to help the two main swimmers who had this vision complete that vision, and you were that final piece of the puzzle that even they didn't know they needed, but they needed you. They really needed you to make that happen.
Thank you. I'm tongue-tied, but there's truth in what you're saying. The boys have said that to me. It's just, in Scotland you don't get too big for your boots. But when you've got Gus, the boat captain, when you've got him paying respect the way he did, and to see his company thriving, Islay Sea Adventures is it's my favourite Instagram page. Yeah. Because where's Gus today? And we know all those bits of water. It was, there was a lot of energy. My favourite video is me bouncing off the boat. There was an inflatable rip, so I was standing on the front, and you stood on the hard bit and then used the rubber bit as a trampoline to do my boat dismounts.
Yeah.
and then suddenly you're in the water and you've got. What I found was I had 1 hour worth of fuel in me, and if I didn't eat and fuel up within 1 hour of going in, I was in trouble. And then after that, it was every 45 minutes. It's marked all of us in a beautiful way. I can't believe it's been as long as it has been. Thank you. Let me rephrase that. Thank you for getting me there. It changed my life.
Now you have meat on top. Talk to me about your returns to Islay, because I know you've gone back to do some swimming.
Well, no, so I go to Islay.
Okay.
My cousin Ben has the haulage company on Islay, so to get over to see Ben and the family, and I just really enjoy being there. My oldest daughter's named Islay. You might not know this. My father's so Ben and I share a great grandfather who owned the land that became Kinnicraig Ferry Terminal. My dad had summer picnics. He lived on the hill above the terminal.
Yeah.
And then when my great-grandfather died, there was 10 sons. 5 of them, I think, were involved in the farm, and they all fell out. So my grandfather ended up buying a farm in Ayrshire. So I've got this historical connection to that space. Getting back there is just it's just a part of any trip home to Scotland. And whenever I'm on Islay, I go over to Gus's yards, and he usually isn't even there, and I'll just leave my gear on he's got a wee pier there, and I'll swim from Gus's yard, past Lagavulin Distillery, and into Ardbeg. And as you remember, the swim ended with me just about on life support in front of the old Ardbeg stills.
Yeah.
And I have twice since climbed up the pier in Ardbeg in my Speedo and walked into the new still house during tours.
Yeah.
And the staff are so accommodating. They drive me back to Gus's after I've warmed myself up. They're such a great crew in Ardbeg. The hospitality abounds. Right. But to drive a freezing me back down to my towel at Gus's yard is So no trip there is complete without that.
Yeah.
And it's we all know it's a magical island. That was the only swim we did that was unsupported by the boats. Between the initial swim, we started in Ardbeg, and day one we swam to past Lagavulin and into Auchroisk.
Yeah.
And you're swimming through the thickest kelp I've ever endured. And it was the only place that we worked out that we could do it without the boats.
Yeah.
So I've been quite comfortable. There's a few wee islands just off there that protect the currents are not pulling you away from the land. I do not endorse anybody swimming off the coast of Islay.
Exactly.
Please. Look, if I die swimming, everybody that loves me knows that is a preferred way to go than the myriad of other, car crashes or cancers that we could endure in life. But please, I don't want to encourage anyone to do that.
Yes. Well, Johnny, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure hanging out with you, drinking some Kalila with you. Cheers. Michael fucking Nolan, welcome back to the podcast.
Hello.
So good to see you.
I was jealous last year you interviewed my wife and left me out. So,
well, I'm not going to lie to you. I caught you a bit too late in the day, and I think you might have been just a little too happy. No, I'm joking.
You got me a little earlier today. So it's the second year back.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying myself. but something really occurred to me. First off, we owe a huge thank you to David Stirk.
Yes.
Because this is a phenomenal event. Great people. And it reminded me of something. When I went, after a few years of going to Jubilees, I spent the first hour, 2 hours, just catching up with old friends and talking to people. I love being here because I see all my friends from the UK, and I spend a lot of time just saying hello to them. But I also realized that Independent Spirits Festival is right there with, it's right there with Jubilee.
Wow.
And in a sense, I feel David has done you a favor and Jason a favor, because you know what, if you enjoyed the Jubilee, you need to come over to this event, because this is like right there. I mean, it's
those are words of praise.
No. So I'm serious. This is just such a great event.
Yeah.
So much fun. I mean, it's more than just the whiskey. It's really the community. And that's what Jubilee was about. It's community. And I mean, it makes me so happy being here. But it's like, it occurred to me, it's like, I haven't enjoyed a festival as much since Jubilee as this.
Yes.
So, when the Reynolds didn't come this year.
Oh, I'm so glad you changed your minds.
You know what? I have to thank Bonnie and Ezra.
Yeah.
Because when they found out we weren't bringing them over in May, they insisted we come here in March. Even if it was a quick trip, come here and have the festival. So
it's so good. I'm so glad that they talked you into it. And listen, I couldn't agree more. I came in early, and it took me 20 minutes to get to the table, because I'm hugging Shilton Almeida from M&H. I'm hugging Billy Abbott. I met Andy Davidson, who's a Single Cask Nation member. I saw him outside. Like, you're running into old friends.
Yes.
And it's like a reunion. And I agree with you. I think what David's put together here is really something special.
And if you really love whiskey, the brands he's brought here, unbelievable. They all have just outstanding whiskeys, and everyone's got something a little different, a different spin on it. And I was over at the Fragrant Drops table, and those guys are doing beautiful things. With a visit from our friends, Single Cask Nation, and harass Chris and Jess. You know,
And we got to meet Johnny the Scot, right? Johnny Mundell.
Here. I haven't seen him.
Yeah. Right, to be able to bump into someone that was 2017, so we're looking 9 years, right? 9 years ago. So it's just, it feels like a high school or college reunion, you know?
But better,
because you like the people.
And you're drinking good whiskey to lubricate everything. So
exactly.
Yeah. So thank you for being here, and we'll be here next year. I don't think there's a question. I mean, we're just coming.
So later last year, when we were making our 2026 plans of where we need to be traveling, and the question is always, okay, we have to travel to Scotland. When are we going to do that? We all said, this is the anchor. This festival is the anchor. So we always have to come out here. This is where our bottling hall is. This is where our offices are. This is where the warehouse is. This is the anchor.
You did a lot of business this week, I'm sure.
Oh my God, yes, a ton. But this had to be the anchor. It just had to. And the fact that you're here, and Lynn Schatz is here, and like, oh my God.
Incomplete Joshua Hatton list.
Incomplete Joshua Hatton. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm seeing everybody around, you know? Well, cheers, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love you, brother.
I love you. Cheers.
Huge thanks to David Stirk, to Nolan, to Johnny the Scot, to Jasper, to Murray. Oh my gosh, to Murray.
Yeah, thanks,
to
Murray.
Nate.
Now I've got dead eyes.
Oh God, poor Jason. No,
If you pay Joshua a lot of money, he'll send you the outtakes from that.
I don't want, if that's what made it in, I don't want to hear the outtakes.
There was actually there was an interview that I wanted to conduct, but couldn't. And in the end, I'm actually glad that he said no to being on recording. There was a gentleman with who had a friend. And Jason, he actually went to the table to speak with you, I think.
I was keeping this between the two of us, yes.
Yeah, well, here we are. But he was just so lovely. I'm not going to name his name. But
he knows who he is.
He knows who he is. And he said something really kind. And it was, over COVID, listening to our podcast was actually a lifesaver to him. And it was his way of being able to communicate and make new friends and actually just stay in touch with humanity. And for our little podcast to keep him sane, what a thing to play a part in that. So you know who you are. Thank you.
Yeah, when we hang out and joke and make reference to, past episodes and what have you, to have somebody give a heartfelt thanks. It was a lot. It really was a lot. And I love the fact that he came through. I'm glad the fact he came to say hi and someone saying thanks for this silly little corner of the podcasting world is remarkable. So, yeah, cheers to everybody who continues to listen and continues to support us. It always means the world to us, and we love seeing those people eyeball to eyeball.
Yeah. So Jess, back to what was on your table. I know we talked about four of the new bottlings that you had with ROW 12. I remember there was a Pulteney that I had more than one pour of. And I think that might be... don't tell yourself.
Jess's response.
I thought we were doing really well pouring it, and it turns out Joshua was just drinking all of it.
Oh, by the way, that was just me drinking the Pulteney. Well, I think is that our first Pulteney?
It is, yeah.
It is, yeah, right? So I had to have celebratory Pulteney pours. PP.
Pulteney pours. Yeah, that's an old bourbon matured 12-year-old Pulteney. It's a fun little number. It's,
yeah, very fun. Very fun.
What else were we missing? Well, actually, weirdly for me, the other two that I've not mentioned that are from the general release of the 12th general release is we've got an 11-year-old old bourbon Kalila and a 12-year-old Williamson, which is a second fill sherry, which isn't something we do very often. Our casks, we don't quite often get to second fills. I imagine at some point, eventually, we'll have lots of second fills. Yeah. So this is a gently sherried Williamson, as opposed to a heavy sherry. Also delicious. There's no reason why I didn't mention these before the interviews. Right. It's just because there's 7 things to think about, and that's quite a lot.
Right. Yeah. Well, Williamson's got a little bit of that Blacksboat Bridge quality. Clearly, Williamson is a known, I don't quite want to say brand name. It's a known spirit name. Whereas Blacksboat Bridge is our in-house fanciful name. So it's nice when people say, I've never heard of Williamson, and you get to talk about Bessie, and you get to talk about Isla, and you get to talk about the South Shore, and you get to talk about a distillery that it turns out they really love. So I like all of that chat.
I definitely think Williamson is a second hand name for Laphroaig. There's a lot of people that come to the table knowing what it is. They're not waiting for the explanation for us to be like, oh, it's a brand name for, blah, blah, blah. People come up and boldly ask you a Williamson knowing what direction the liquid in their glass is going to be going.
Yep, for sure. For sure.
So that concludes our RW12. I know the follow-up questions that are coming. One, no, it's not out yet. I am just trickling it into retailers and talking to people. So stay tuned to all the usual places where we will actually tell you once you can go buy and spend your hard-earned cash. Thank you very much for your patience. We'll be rolling that out into our various markets around the world as fast as we can. If you have specific questions as to where you want to find these bottles, come and ask me, and I will try to update everybody at large as I know more. So I'll be definitely putting it in our Facebook group once I know where it's going into markets and shops. And there'll be more emails, I imagine, and other social media content where you can find details on these very releases.
Yeah, when you say come and ask me, what's the best way people can reach you? Like, do you want people to reach you at info@singlecastnation.com? Do you want them to...
You can find me there. You can find me just at singlecastnation.com. You can find me in a local cheese shop and ask me questions. I don't have a fancy P.O. box for you to... Well, you can... I mean, if you want to write a letter to Joshua's P.O. box in Connecticut...
That's it.
For it to then be read out on a future podcast, you can do that too. I'd be delighted for that. But yeah, you can also find me as Whiskey Jess on Instagram. You can find me in our Facebook group. It's not that hard to find me. It's unlike Jason, you've got to be really trying to find Jason. Don't ask him anything.
Yeah. Find a pony. Get on the Pony Express.
Just message
He likes
me.
faxes, actually.
info@balmenachbunch.org.
I really hope you register that to yourself.
.billboard.
Yep. We accept Apple Pay. We accept gold bullion.
Very modern of you.
Yep. We accept vegetable bullion. That's how forward thinking we are.
Do you have a preferred cryptocurrency?
I knew you were going to ask me.
Just dowry.
Yeah,
That's the only thing he accepts is dowries.
I only
Cask
accept
coin.
OXO. Sometimes I'll accept the rival Nor.
Pushed.
I'm amusing myself with stock cube references from the United Kingdom.
He's not even had a drink yet. This
You
is
thought
probably half the
Balmenach
problem.
Punch was niche.
You just outed yourself for your other
right.
interests, I see.
Yeah, I know. Absolutely. I'm a bullion nut.
Listen, I've got to get us out of here. We've spent far
please
too
do.
much time. We've had too much fun. I want to get us out of here on one thing. Not the last time we were together, but one of the last times, the last time we were together in season 9, we talked about commandments of whiskey, right? And a few people have sent in commandments, and I wanted to just mention the commandments that seemed interesting. Okay, so we'll get out on that, and yeah, Tom Judelka, who is actually the star of a previous episode, our last episode actually, had sent in some, and he said, "Hi there, I just finished the mailbag episode and have returned from on high with some potential commandments. 1, thou shalt not succumb to FOMO."
Difficult.
I beg to differ.
Yeah, I beg to differ.
Build business
succumb. Succumb. Yes, please. Yeah, take that back.
Tom Nadelka, hard pass. FOMO is your one true lord.
Yes, yeah. 2, thou shalt allow the addition of water when it is needed.
Oh, of course. Absolutely.
Of course.
That's a good
Yeah, I
one.
like
Good,
that
good,
one.
good. Good.
3, thou shalt drink thy whiskey however thou please, and allow others to do the same.
See commandment 2.
And then he puts a parenthetical. Is that proper old-timey grammar? I have no idea. And then he said, thou shall not spell whiskey with an E, nor padcost as podcast. I love that.
Wow, I would be much more generous. I've got no qualms against the E. You use your E as you see fit.
Yeah. And then one came in from Jasper Lyons, and he says, what does he say here? Thou shalt support your local whiskey scene, such as bars, liquor stores, clubs, and distilleries.
There you go.
There you go.
That's wholesome. I approve of that.
That's wholesome. I like that. He's a wholesome guy. He's a wholesome guy.
Yeah, support your local whiskey community, 100%.
Yeah, there you go.
All
right. So if you want to be like Tom Jadelka, if you want to be like Jasper Lyons, if you need to get a hold of Jess Lomas, you can send your questions, inquiries, queries to info@singlecasknation.com, and we will answer them in an expeditious manner. And then, of course, give us 5 stars on all the things, the Apple Podcasts, the Spotifys. You should, you must, you need to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You just got to, right?
You do.
Yeah.
You gotta.
You gotta. And that's it. Jess, Jason, listeners, it's a pleasure, as always.
Awesome. Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye.
Cheers.